Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Survivor Series! All in all, it's the least reliable of the big four pay-per-views to the point where legit WWE nearly cancelled it, checks notes, over 10 years ago. But it still limps on, not really making sense with its weightless brand warfare and pizza battle royals, and that bit where some old dudes clap for The Undertaker before vanishing. But here we go again, time for elimination tag matches and t-shirts to matter, but this time for t-shirts to matter inside a big metal shoebox. I'm being very salty about Survivor Series, and lest we forget, it's actually the second oldest of the big four shows, beating Rumble by 2 months and SummerSlam by 10, you big old pissing yourself grandpa. But hell, with 35 of the shows in the bag, at least 10 of them must be good, right? And yes, roughly 10 of them are. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are 10 best Survivor Series pay-per-views ever. If you would like to see some of our other best pay-per-view shows, we've done one about WrestleMania, and we've done one about NXT takeovers. You should watch those. They're nice. Isn't it nice when I like wrestling? Before we dive into the list, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. In case you've been living under a Dwayne, Raid Shadow Legends is an awesome fantasy RPG mobile game that brings a console-level experience to your phone. If you're not sold on the game, here's our top 3 champions. Number 3, Ray. Damn, Candice, you sure look different. Number 2, Bushi. Damn, Bushi, you sure look different. And number 1, Chopper. Damn, Pete, actually, that's pretty much how Pete looks. And this month is huge for Raid. They've just released a new faction, the Sylvan Watchers, with some new champions to boot. Forest Elves, Ents, Druids, Fays, it's all here. Also, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get your rewards in Raid right now. And if you haven't started playing Raid yet, click our link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, and you can get rewards worth $30. A free Epic Champion Tyrell, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in-game.
And if that's not enough, Raid's got a full lineup of events along with a new season of the Forge Pass, where you can get your hands on some of the most powerful gear the game has ever seen. The rewards will be available only for the next 30 days and only for new players.
Clicking that link or scanning the QR code also helps support us here on PFK, so download Raid Shadow Legends today. Number 10, 2018. This Survivor Series is really weird. WWE ran 2 TV shows on major networks at the time, Raw and SmackDown, and decided to use Survivor Series 2018 to depict one as being really good and full of winners, and one as utter dog shit. Raw f***ing mullered SmackDown in a reported clean sweep, which involved WWE actually taking SmackDown's 1 win, the tag team elimination match. They took that away from SmackDown because it happened on the pre-show. That's some f***ing bullshit. Also, Drake Maverick pissed himself. And yeah, it's still a top 10 Survivor Series. Why? Because my favorite match of all time is the main event, and I write the lists, so have a cake and like it. Also, Nakamura versus Rollins is good, and I really like the bit where Charlotte went mental on Ronda Rousey. And also, Buddy Murphy got to fight Mustafa Ali for 12 minutes. That's insane! All of the elimination matches on the main show itself are a bit wonky, but goddamn if Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar doesn't make up for it and then some. Actually, hang on, I'm gonna go and rewatch that right now. Wait here. Number 9, 1987. When it comes to the first iteration of each of the big 4 pay-per-views, WWE have exactly a 50% success record. The first WrestleMania and Royal Rumble shows are hard to watch and dull, but the first SummerSlam and first Survivor Series absolutely hold up today. The very first Survivor Series featured 4 matches, each of them a showcase of a different division: mid-card, tag, women's, main event, and each of them good in their own way, and each one a shining example of why the world still very much had a terminal case of Hulkamania. The mid-card match had Savage, Steamboat, Jake Roberts, Honky Tonk Man doing what they do best. The women's match gets 20 minutes, which is mad to think about now, and showcases the Jumping Bomb Angels, who ruled. The tag match is nearly 40 minutes long, but the action almost never stops, and the main event was a shining example of a swerve done right. Hulk Hogan shockingly being eliminated, with Bam Bam Bigelow getting the spotlight and the 3-on-1 disadvantage fighting his way back style push. It's old wrestling, it may not be to everyone's taste in terms of speed and pomp, but it's a great showcase of a promotion in peak health. Number 8, 1996. Many fans remember 1996 as the year that WWF, after floundering for the last 3 years in the wake of megastar Hulk Hogan leaving, started to put the pieces of the Attitude Era together. This is absolutely not a perfect show, by any means. It's actually one of those Survivor Series shows where the elimination matches were the worst part of it, and there are more of those than you'd think, but it's still incredibly significant. First, you have HBK dropping the title to Sid, which the Madison Square Garden crowd were more than up for. Then you have a silly but acceptable Mankind Taker match with Paul Bearer hanging above the ring like a shrill Christmas ornament. But the real crowning glory is the Bret Hart-Steve Austin match. These two could wrestle in inflatable sumo suits and it would still be good. Oh yeah, and The Rock debuted, cosplaying as a toothpaste jellyfish, an important step in the right direction for WWF, and a solid enough show if you selectively fast forward. Number 7, 2014, a one-match card, but what a match. Team Cena versus Team Authority, with the stake being if the Authority lost, they would be out of power, and if Cena's ballerinas lost, they'd all be fired. And boy, did they throw every booking trick they had at this match. Yet somehow, it all came together beautifully. You had an immediate elimination, fun, a Big Show heel turn. Why not? A Hulk Hogan Bam Bam Bigelow situation with Cena being shockingly eliminated midway, with Ziggler having to carry the rest of the match, and a shock debut. All sports entertainment joy is here. The rest of the card is okay, at best. Miz and Mizdow get their moment. That's nice. I also don't think anyone expected the Divas Championship to change hands via lesbian treachery, and also a bunny wrestled. The rest of the show isn't it? But that main event, though, that is an all-timer. Number 6, 2003. And speaking of all-time great elimination matches, 2003's is right up there with the best of the best. Team Austin versus Team Bischoff, with Austin's career, well, his general manager career, I guess, being on the line. A stacked, ruthless aggression mid-card bolstering the match with some wonderfully booked eliminations and a Shawn Michaels babyface in peril performance that has rarely ever been bettered. Like 2014, you only really remembered this show for this match, but unlike 2014, the rest of the card has some stuff going on. Team Angle versus Team Lesnar was good. Shane defending his mother and testicles from Kane was stupidly violent. Mr. McMahon versus The Undertaker is violently stupid and intensely bloody for some reason, and that reason is Vince is crazy. Triple H versus Goldberg was alright. There have been worse. It's a solid enough show with a near faultless elimination match as its beating heart. Number 5, 2016, continuing the trend of shows with one really, really, really good elimination match and the rest of the card being ever so slightly better than the last entry. 2016 was the year that WWE brought back the brand split, and so they suddenly super duper cared about brand warfare. 2016 marked the first shot in the t-shirt wars, which has killed thousands, and honestly the only time where that paid off worth a damn. The women's match is okay. The tag team match is pretty good actually. The men's elimination match is an epic, near hour-long joy. Unlike a lot of elimination matches that see dudes get hastily eliminated by random-ass clotheslines that would otherwise never pin them, 2016 takes its time, does it properly, and escalates the action perfectly. All-time great RKO right in there, by the way. Oh, and the main event of Goldberg-Lesnar is history's silliest thing, and a lightning bolt surprise that briefly made wrestling feel as shocking as it did in your childhood. Number 4, 2009. Feels kind of weird putting this match on this list, as 2009 was such a wild and oddly bad year for WWE. It was a year where they had 9 WWE Championship title changes in 1 year. Pigeon stupid. Hell, Survivor Series was one of the only shows that year that didn't feature any title changes, but it goes on the list because top to bottom, it's just a really good show. Simply booked, and everything makes sense. You got Kofi's big win, featuring that awesome 1-2 elimination moment. Undertaker versus Jericho is basically a handicap match and good fun. The opening match was a solid showcase for 3 men that would come to define WWE over the next 10 years, one way or another. And the main event is a very fun misdirect. John Cena defending his WWE Championship against both members of DX, who fans were expecting to work together, before Michaels immediately super kicks his best bud as soon as the bell rings. An actual laugh out loud swerve before a very good match. There's just nothing wrong with this Survivor Series at all. There's just nothing really wrong with it. That's okay. Number 3, 2001. Say what you want about the invasion. Okay, I will. It was the biggest waste of potential in wrestling history. And also, why is the poster for this show Tori Wilson and Lita? No knock on either lady, but I'm pretty sure the show was about something else. The invasion was a convoluted mess that somehow went from WWF versus WCW to WWF versus WWF, with Booker T also there. But I'm not going to argue with how the whole thing ended. Survivor Series 2001 rules. Paul Heyman and JR on top of their bickering commentary game, a bunch of great undercard matches, Test Edge, Dudley's Hardys, the Immunity Battle Royal, and finally the main event, an absolute whopper of an elimination match featuring the biggest and brightest talent from the best main event period in WWE history. And also, Shane was there. The match fizzes with high energy from its star power and winner-takes-all ludicrous stakes, and it builds and builds, perfectly managing the crowd until it comes down to Austin versus Rock, of course, and the shock finish. If only for one night, WWE turned chicken shit into chicken salad. Number 2, 1998. Some people really hate this show, and I promise you I do understand why. It's a wrestling show where the wrestling part of the show is garbage. It swerves on misdirects, on red herrings, on top of twists, and should go down in history as one of the worst examples of sports entertainment excess, but it really isn't. It's oddly one of the better arguments for Vince's vision of professional wrestling, a densely plotted, moments over move style affair, but where every story beat actually pays off because all the major surprises are seeded and everyone's actions make sense. Vince's plan is complicated as hell, but it makes sense. Mankind's manipulation and subsequent betrayal makes sense. The Rock's turn makes sense. Instead of a bunch of matches, it's basically one long twisting storyline of a night, an experiment that pays dividends in a brand new super over corporate champion. And number 1, 2002, the best of the best. On paper, this is an insane night. Every single championship that's defended on the show changes hands, including the coronation of WWE champion The Big Show, and they are 5 words which in any other order would be a good thing, but in this particular order are a bad thing. Despite all of that, the show is unreasonably good. It's MSG, so the crowd are ravenous. Tables match is beautiful. The women's hardcore is one of the best women's matches in company history up until that point. The triple threat tag title match is very excellent indeed. And then there's the main event, the debut of the Elimination Chamber. How did its debut go? Well, it's still around 20 years later, so you tell me. Everyone that Triple H ever wronged for the World Heavyweight title, which is a lot of people, all in a box trying to stamp him to death via his throat. It's a near perfect showcase of what the match can do, with only one irredeemable fault, and that's those fucking brown tights that HBK wears. It's your big night, Sean. Why have you done it in those? Really great show, though. And that's our list. What's your favorite Survivor Series of all time? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to partsFUNknown for more silly wrestling content, and never forget to jam that jam.